I know that you are working with people in South America, in Latin America as well. Why? Why Latin America?
Yeah, and I mean, the US based, like the US culture, the corporate culture can be a little bit boring at times. I think, Silicon Valley has helped a lot with it, but like there's so much culture that comes out of Latin America. And when that's being brought into a US based services company like Flylance, like it's just so fun.
Part of building great teams is not focusing all the people just in software delivery, but you need to focus in life as well.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
If you're not like doing business with friends, then who are you doing business with? First and foremost, yes, like friendship is super important because you have to build trust with the person that you're managing. You have to get to know them on a personal level because if you're going to be managing them and trying to help them be the best version of themselves, you have to get to know who they are.
Bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio de su podcast Coffee Power. Bueno, hoy vamos a tener un episodio particular porque va a ser en inglés. Así que si usted quiere aprender inglés con nosotros, llegó al episodio preferido. Pero es un episodio en inglés enfocado en una persona que aquí lo tengo, Anthony. Él es CEO de una compañía que se encarga de colocar perfiles de tecnología en distintas compañías en Sudamérica, en Norteamérica. Es un crack, sabe un montón de tecnología. Vamos a tener una conversación de liderazgo en tecnología. Vamos a tener una conversación de qué es lo que está pasando ahorita en el mundo, cómo ustedes se pueden preparar desde Latinoamérica para posiciones en Norteamérica o cómo pueden estar en proyectos que se hacen en Norteamérica. Yo les quisiera pedir a ustedes que si a usted se le dificulta el inglés, o si su English is not very good looking, como dice la maestra Celia Cruz, usted en Spotify, esto va a estar en video. Entonces usted toma el episodio, lo ve en video y aquí en video usted va a ver todos los subtítulos de lo que vamos a hablar con Anthony. O en YouTube, por supuesto, lo vamos a tener en video, pero vaya a ver el video si se le complica el inglés. Si no se le complica el inglés y quiere practicar el inglés con nosotros, bueno, este es el episodio perfecto. Así que, cafeteros, trato hecho. Y aquí vamos a presentar a Anthony. So, Anthony, my man, how's it going? How are you, man?
I'm very good. That was beautiful. One, I think I might have caught like a couple of things in there. I don't speak fluent. My wife is more so the fluent side of Spanish because she studied it. But that was awesome.
You guys always say it's like I don't speak anything of English, but then you pick a lot of things. So yeah.
Hey, your English is good, man. I mean, I got to give you credit. Come on.
No, man, my English is not very good looking. Not for a podcast. I mean, I can talk, I can read, I can do everything.
Well, hey, we're about to have an pretty English podcast, so I think you're gonna knock it out of the park.
Oh man, I don't know. But you know what? The problem is, in the Spanish-speaking community, there is not a lot of podcasts talking about tech leadership. And I've seen some episodes of different podcasts in English, so I think I'm not the best one to be there because at the same time, I do this for my community, right? And I feel amazing, when we can share some content that people that they don't speak English, so they can enjoy this in Spanish as well. And that's the reason why sometimes we do like an English episode like this one, and we bring people amazing like you, but we are like focusing the content to a Spanish-speaking population. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think having both sides is super important.
Yeah. No, man. So, my man, Flylance man. So, I was doing a little bit of research about you. So, you have 8 years and 7 months with Flylance.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It was like a freelancing company before it actually became like an enterprise software services company. And it was just me grinding in the early days, just trying to make a buck and pay for school.
So tell me the story. How this idea came to you?
Yeah. I mean, it was 2015. I built my own like freelancing company. I'm a designer by trade, product designer, so UX UI, and started dabbling 2 years out of school. Came to Dallas, started doing freelance stuff, and then fast forward to 2017. I met my partner and best friend, Jackson Blankenship, who works at the company with me. And then fast forward to 2020, him and I, we got funding, and we built a board around and kind of restructured this freelance company I had to what we now call Flylance. Super short, simple, and him and I.
Where was that?
So that was all. This is all in Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, 2020 is really when it started to kick off, during COVID, all that craziness. Everybody went remote, and it was just kind of our opportunity to, one, bring all the projects I had from freelancing. And then two, instead of fishing, in this small pond within the United States, just go outside and be able to get amazing talent outside of the United States.
Yeah. And that's my second question. So I know that you are working with people in South America, in Latin America as well. Why Latin America?
Well, I mean, part of it is our board had they've had a lot of years down in Buenos Aires, Argentina, building similar software services companies. Building engineers down there, training engineers down there, and then those companies have been sold. But for us, it was more so same time zone. A lot of companies use Indian firms, which is totally fine. Cost-wise, it's very similar, but they're on the other side of the world. So all of our US-based talent, they get to, or our US-based clientele, they get to benefit from the same time zones. Cost is definitely a lot less for the talent that comes out of Latin America versus the US-based talent. But that's nice, but it's more so just good people, just solid individuals that come out of there, and the retention's super high.
¿Ya te uniste a la comunidad gratuita de Coffee Power en Slack? Bueno, si ya te uniste, aquí vas a ver en el ad break esto amarillito, que no sé si es de aquí o es de allá, pero él va creciendo, lo adelantas hasta que se termine y ahí continúa el episodio. Pero si no te has unido, brother, amiga mía, es gratis. Usted ahí tiene la oportunidad de interactuar con líderes de tecnología de toda Hispanoamérica. Estamos publicando oportunidades de empleo de distintas compañías que tienen posiciones y de los mismos cafeteros que publican las oportunidades en su compañía. Compartimos noticias, artículos, mejores prácticas, los nuevos episodios y adicionalmente tenemos la zona de perks, que son los beneficios de estos cafeteros de los miembros. Cada vez que, por ejemplo, nosotros tenemos el curso de liderazgo y tenemos un descuento, el primer descuento lo publicamos para los perks de los cafeteros en nuestra comunidad de Slack. Cada vez que anunciamos nuevas fechas del Masterclass, que es este programa en vivo que nosotros hacemos con 10 personas todos los meses, un programa de liderazgo en tecnología, cada vez que anunciamos nuevas fechas, primero el Slack. Así que es un no-brainer, no lo pienses más, aquí te dejo la información, en este momento te puedes suscribir a la comunidad de Slack de Coffee Power y bienvenido. Ahora quiero contarles un proyecto nuevo que acabamos de publicar y es Coffee Power Live, un evento en vivo presencial donde tú nos vas a poder acompañar. Vamos a estar grabando episodios, vamos a tener espacios de networking, vamos a tener speakers en el evento. Como tal, vamos a comenzar por la ciudad de Bogotá, que es la ciudad donde comenzó todo este proyecto. Así que este 12 de octubre es el primer Coffee Power Live en Bogotá. Agarra tu boleta y nos vemos en el evento. Y yo quiero terminar, y me van a disculpar lo largo del ad break, agradeciéndole a mis amigos de Working Bits. Porque miren, para nosotros hacer este podcast, aparte, por supuesto que es tiempo y trabajo que nosotros le dedicamos, bueno, tenemos un equipo que nos respalda también. Y entonces, para hacer que eso pase, necesitamos ayuda. Y Working Bits es una de estas compañías que dijo, Coffee Power, aquí estoy yo quiero ayudar, yo quiero que el equipo crezca, yo quiero que los episodios salgan mejores, yo quiero que tengan mejor edición, así que yo le quiero dar mis agradecimientos enormes a Working Bits, que son especialistas y cazadores de tecnologías de marketing, que aparte son geniales, deberían ver lo que están haciendo. Gracias, Working Bits. Yeah, that's amazing, man. So every time that I've been working, for example, here in Canada, I've been putting that on the table. Hey, it's not that we're gonna find cheap people only. You're gonna find a great candidates, great people that is going to give a lot of value. So I'm in love with what's happening in our countries with this kind of culture. Like people, they know now how to work with North American companies. They know, there is a kind of course, there is a cultural gap, but at the same time, that gap is getting closer and closer and closer. And yeah, man, I know stories about a lot of great companies building great products with a diverse team. When you have that's what they call the Cupertino model, when they have people in Cupertino, but at the same time they have the rest of the people around the world. And
exactly.
and in Latin America, they have right now a huge population of software developers and different technology roles that are working in different companies around the world. So yeah, I'm in love with what's happening there.
Yeah, and I mean the U.S. based, the U.S. culture, the corporate culture can be a little bit boring at times. I think Silicon Valley has helped a lot with it, but there's so much culture that comes out of Latin America, and when that's being brought into a U.S. based services company like Flylance, it's just so fun. And there's a lot of very interesting folks who have very diverse backgrounds in software engineering and design and data science, and they teach us stuff. It's it's crazy.
So one thing, Anthony, is I know you're a passionate about building teams, what you call amazing teams. Tell me a little bit about that. Is something that you do every day in your company? Do you have a lot of challenges building what you call amazing teams? Walk me through that area.
I mean, when I'm not an expert by any means in anything, whether it's building teams or, building a services company. But when I first started really managing teams 3-4 years ago, I didn't really know what I was doing. What I had was I was very humbled because I was thrown into co-founder CEO, and I was very fortunate to be able to be in that position. So I kind of took that mindset and then expanded it as our teams grow. And I tend to lead with heart first and foremost. I never try to force anything down anybody's throat, and I try to keep a democracy. Let the people speak for what they want and which direction. I mean, I have an idea, and all of our marketing is all stuff that I put together, but I didn't. It was not complete until I had my team's input, and that's kind of what that's how I lead.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me that part of building great teams is not focusing all the people just in software delivery, but you need to focus in life as well.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
I mean, it's interesting because in life in general, just being a good person is super important. Not being a dick. But it's important just to be a good person, and then leadership follows suit. If people can see how you lead, with your heart, and there's results that are the output of that leadership, then they'll kind of just follow in.
Yeah.
And that's in life, but also in business as well, that I found.
Yeah. You know that I have the master class in Coffee Power, and at the end, when I finalize all the content in the masterclass, we have been talking about roadmaps and delivery and OKRs and KPIs and all that tech stuff. Something that I mention to all my students all the time is, I'm going to give you the last feedback that if you don't apply this, everything that you learn in the masterclass, you can put that and throw it to the trash can immediately. And it's basically, you have to be a good human being with your people.
Love it.
It's the only soft skill that you have to, and it's not masterized because you don't learn how to be a good human being. You're a human being or you're a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So
how do you say that in Spanish, by the way?
No, but I don't know. You say un pendejo. No, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like because the translation in Spanish is a little bit hard, so I'm not gonna mention that word. But yeah, it's gonna be a bit.
Yeah.
But you genuinely you have to you have to take care of your people, and that means every time that you go to, for example, a one-on-one, and you are the kind of leader like, oh man, I've been so busy, I'm so tired, and you are like waiting for that space with me or with the leader, and you are not like in that mood of paying attention, or you are stressed or you are depressed or whatever, but you are going to the one-on-one and people start feeling that you are not there. That is not being a good human being. Like if you start off like listening, you are that kind of leader that are pushing and judging your team and complaining for everything and reacting for everything, you are not being a good leader. So I think part of like a starting point, like a floor number one of being a great leader is just be a human being, a good human being.
When you were, you were saying, don't air your dirty laundry is essentially what you don't want to do. And like, you're a CEO, CTO, so you get it. It's like, you have to be able to put that aside. And that's why there's so much pressure in the position that you and I are in, because that nobody needs to hear that on the team. And to be a leader, it's like, I have one vision. I want to go in that direction, and nothing else can stop me. There are definitely going to be stresses and pressures along the way, but like, nobody on your team needs to hear that. Like, you got to take that in and manage it so that your team can perform and do their best.
Totally. And you are the kind of people or leaders that, let's say at work, you promote creating relationships with people. I mean, like a friend relationship. Can you be friend of the people that you're working with, or you are more kind of like this is our workspace. I'm not here to create friends. I'm just gonna be your good leader. What do you think about that? What kind of leader are you?
It's a very good question, and it's probably one of the hardest things in managing people is like, how do you separate friendship from management? And for me, it's like, if you're not like doing business with friends, then who are you doing business with? So first and foremost, yes, like, friendship is super important, because you have to build trust with the person that you're managing. You have to get to know them on a personal level, because if you're going to be managing them and trying to help them be the best version of themselves, you have to get to know who they are. So that's, I have to be friends with them first. And it is very, very difficult to separate that whenever output is not the expected. But like, also being a friend is like, say it how it is. And like, if you're not performing, hey bro, like, not doing well. And this is why you're not doing well. I'll show you, because you set your goals with me in the beginning of the quarter. This is where we're at now. And it's not looking good.
Yeah. No, and that when you have been like, and you create this kind of emotional connection, something usually happen is people, they don't want to let you down. And in the moment that something is not working, they're going to react because you're close. I don't want to disappoint you, right? Like instead of like if you are the boss and you're a dick, like fuck you, right?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna be like with this kind of mindset, because I don't like you, I don't trust you. So for any angles, I'm completely agree with you, man. Like 100%.
Yeah, and the other part of it, like, for me at least, is leading by example, which it's a phrase that's been thrown around left and right in the business world. But for me, it's like, I'm a designer by trade. I do all of our marketing. I put stuff together that makes my team excited. I want to be able to build trust by actually being at the forefront of emerging tech. And same with my partner and CTO, Jax, JAX. That's kind of what he goes by. Him and I are always up to date on stuff. And like, I go crazy on Figma automation, building up our marketing, putting stuff together for our internal web applications. And then Jax goes crazy because he's a techie and he actually develops that stuff. So, we try to stay at the forefront of stuff, and that kind of builds trust.
Do you use Webflow?
I use Webflow for the website, for flylance.com.
Man, I discovered the Figma automation and the connection with Webflow is amazing.
It's
like
insane.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the website endeavor, like in the very beginning, it was Jackson. I was like, am I going to design this in Figma, and are you going to go develop this in TypeScript and React? And he's like, God, I don't want to do that. That's going to take forever. Like, let's go Webflow.
Let's go Webflow. Like, you can build a lot of landing pages, like everything that is not an application, but in fact, you can even embed an application, like a custom application Webflow, is amazing. I've been using that in the Wall 9 in my company. So
yeah,
a lot of development speed and a lot of great taste, man. It's like a pixel perfect, so which is great. So my man, you're working from home, right?
Yes.
Or from remotely, I don't know. Or
yeah.
Are you at home?
Remote from the house. Yeah.
Remote from the house.
Yeah.
Pandemic hit. Everybody started working from home. Everybody, like most of people, were in love. What do you think is happening right now with working from home? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's going to stay forever? Do you think it's the only way to go? Or what do you think?
I mean, I'm super biased because, my company is fully remote. We've got an office in Dallas and Chicago, but it's like there's one or two folks that are in those offices. I'm very biased. I don't know if every single industry will benefit from remote. A lot of industries do, but there's some that don't. But in tech specifically, I think it's amazing for the right people. Now, if you are an individual who wants to be in an office, I mean, I think you still offer that to your company. But for us, I mean, our output the last couple of years, we've been compounding like crazy, and we're all remote.
Yeah. That's great, man. And I seem like a lot of people right now, when they are hiring remotely, like in the perks, it's like we work credits. Like if you want to be in an office, I can give you that option, and it's part of here, and then you can be like working with people. That's amazing. But I make this question. I made this question because, man, I miss being with people in the office. I miss the coffee. I miss the talk in a meeting room. I miss those lunch with my team. I miss those like drinks after office.
Yeah.
And every time that we are going together and we see each other, like it's amazing. I'm not saying that working in the office is going to be the new thing or it's going to be the thing, but I miss that. So what do you think about the hybrid work? Do you think that, are you more inclined to 100% remote work, or do you think the hybrid or something like that is gonna have a lot of value on this?
I like hybrid a lot. I like hybrid a lot, not for our company. I'm going to put Flylance aside and just say that hybrid in general, like I like the aspect of in-person collaboration, especially design and engineering. I think it's super important. But that's not to say that there aren't ways to replicate the face-to-face in some ways. I mean, you've got Zoom, you've got Slack huddles, you've got like stuff like Gather. I don't know if you ever heard of Gather. It's very weird. It's like a metaverse inside of Zoom, inside of an avatar. It's very interesting.
Wow.
But travel, I think, is great. Hybrid's tough for recruiting. That's why I said I was going to put Flylance aside, because you're still fishing in that pond and they have to live in that area. But in regards to traveling, once every couple of weeks, or because it's only plane tickets aren't terribly expensive. So I still think that people can get out and get in person with their teams, even if they're in Latin America or even in the US. I mean, it's only a couple hours to Costa Rica, for example, it's not terribly far.
Yeah, like a center or middle point.
Yeah.
And how do you think that you can, or what are the things that have been working for you in if you want to create a culture remotely, right? Like everything that we were doing in the office, how do you do that remotely? What is the things that you have learned?
Yeah, I mean, Slack is our main source of communication, and we're always kind of like you always have Slack on mobile, so you kind of always you see what people are doing. People are posting pictures of their dogs, their cats. Somebody puts together a cool design, they share it. Maybe somebody's working on an engineering project and they want to collab with the rest of the team. They'll post something about it. So there's that. We do stand-ups 3 times a week with executive management and then some of our engineers that are on our team. So we try to keep meetings brief, but also just make sure that everybody's on the same page. Um, Swag design, we have our marketing is pretty heavy in our company, so we try to keep swag released out to employees and contractors when we can, because it's kind of hard to do that if they're in LATAM. But it's just trying to keep the culture alive by always doing something. Whether it's me pinging about new marketing material or a couple of our employees just started a podcast, by the way. We'll get to that here in a bit. But like, it's just always something to keep people excited.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's amazing. That's great. And Anthony, right now, I don't know if it's valid to say that we're in a weird economy era, or I don't know if everything is going to the right direction. So, what do you think about the economy and how that can be affect software developers or technology teams?
Like specifically within the downturn of what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that there is definitely something. I wouldn't say like a gigantic bubble, but there is a little bit of one. In regards to people getting laid off at big companies, I think that there's opportunity for companies like Flylance to be able to help them out by providing the projects that we bring in. So, companies like the Wall Nine and Flylance, we can go out and we're selling our asses off to try to get projects in so that, we can supply, and give projects to our Latin American community. So people who are getting let off shouldn't be like super freaked out, especially if they're software engineers or in software development, because that is always going to be hot, especially with AI and ML. If they're
100%.
dabbling in that, like that's going to be kicking off here in a bit, and that might be another bubble. So we
Yeah.
might ride another wave of another bubble. So keep their heads up and keep getting after it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And how do you find software developers? How do you contact them?
It's so my team is unbelievable. My recruitment team consists of a couple of Costa Rican recruiters, and then one main guy, Hugh Lyle. Shout out to Hugh Lyle, who runs our recruitment endeavor, facilitates client and contractor. So he's really built up a pipeline with his team that he manages, and we've been using tools like LinkedIn Recruiter is a big one. Fetcher's like a AI platform that kind of helps sift through a lot of people who are looking for work. So that helps a lot. But yeah, I mean, there's things that on the product side that help, but then also just on the team that's managing the process behind it, they're just on it like crazy.
Yeah. And for example, if somebody here that is listening to you, if they believe that they can join any of your projects, how they can find you
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
your company.
Yeah, so it's flylance.com/roles, ROLES, and that's where all of our open
Yeah.
jobs are. And then, our company page is just flylance.com.
Nice. So now that you have experience working with South American or Latin American contractors or people in technology, um, if you want to give them a suggestions of things that they need to do or start doing so they can get more opportunities in a market like North America, what would be?
I would say AI ML. because a lot of our engineers that we're working with internally at Flylance are starting to dabble into GPT-4. It's like this beta version. It's like every month there's like a new GPT. It's like 1, 2, 3. OpenAI is coming out with all sorts of stuff. So their APIs are available. We've got our engineers just messing around with all sorts of stuff, resume parsing, automatic. They're training models internally with all sorts of stuff. So I think that having that is super important, because I feel like the future of GPT-4 inside of other products is about to explode if it hasn't already. I know that venture capitalists are going crazy. They're throwing a ton of money into it for all of these different products, and they're just going to see what sticks. So they're hiring. And, that's our job as Flylance, is to find our contractors badass gigs. So that's what I would say. AI ML.
Well, and I will say English as well. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, yes, English is always great. It's for me, I'm like,
it's a must, man.
I need to learn Spanish.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, I think what is the thing with the Spanish? It's like it's a very romantic and it's a deep language. Like if you like a literature, or you like a reading book in Spanish, is amazing. Like expressing emotion for us in the Spanish is like a wow. It's like you say it.
Yeah, and that's why I love it. By the way,
exactly.
It's a very romantic language. My wife, again, she speaks it pretty dang well. And I Poco, like I've got, like, that's all I got. But no, I mean, I think that English is important for engineers out of Latin America to learn. And when we do recruit for their English capacity and how good they could speak English. It doesn't have to be absolutely amazing, because we do want to help them in their journey. And, we don't have any courses like you. I wish we did, but like, it would be cool to have like an English course that Flylance could offer at some point.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. And all the time I tell that to all the people that it's in my masterclass or in my courses is, I mean, in the moment that you can speak English, the opportunities is like this big. Companies like Flylance, company like the Wall 9, we can help you guys to collocate you in projects not only in South America but in North America as well. So you're gonna have endless opportunities, and that's gonna help you to become a better professional. So I think it's extremely key for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my man. So now we're gonna come to a new section of the podcast that I'm gonna make you some 5 questions.
Okay, cool.
So you feel free to answer in the way you want. You feel free to interpret the way that you want these questions as well.
Okay.
So you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay.
You're making me nervous.
A book.
As in like a book to read?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a huge a book guy, but I do listen to audiobooks. I've never been very good at reading, but I've been listening to this new book called Your Dog is Your Mirror. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's a very weird. So I've got a dog. Do you have a dog?
I had. Not anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the book is its main focus is that like you as a person is directly reflected onto the animal that you're raising, and you can sense a lot of what they do based off of like what you do. So if you're always stressed, your dog is going to always be stressed. If you are, if you're just a mean person, it kind of reflects onto the dog. And it's funny because as I'm reading this, I'm like, wow, like I know I've met and ran into a few folks where it's like their dogs are just assholes. I'm like, it's starting to make sense. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was a long one on that answer, but it's like
nice. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put that here as a Coffee Power favorites now.
Yeah.
All right. So next question. A podcast you like to listen?
Coffee Power. Come on, man.
No, not Coffee Power. You have to pick another podcast.
I recently some of my teammates and friends have gotten me into the All In podcast. I don't know if you've heard of them.
All In, no.
They're just business guys, VC guys, and they talk about current state of the economy. They could talk about tech. They talk about science, so I've been listening to that a lot. And then Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. Whenever I just want to turn my brain off, I listen to that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I haven't listened to that All In. I'm gonna take a look. A leader that you admire or that inspires you.
A leader. I like how Ryan Reynolds. Do you know who that is? He's an actor.
Yeah, he's Canadian, right?
He's Canadian actor, and I just like the way that he carries himself. He's very respected in the business community because, one, he's just charismatic, but two, he knows how to lead teams. It goes back to what you and I were talking about.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Great. Any company that you admire? No Flylance, no the Wall Line, not Coffee Power. Okay.
I'd be so lame if I were to say Flylance right now. I love Flylance, but that'd be lame. I like Porsche, a car company. They're starting to do some pretty interesting, groundbreaking, like e-fuel stuff in Chile. I don't know.
Formula One.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So they're starting with Formula One. I mean, it could be mass produced, but essentially what it is, it's synthetic fuel. It's called e-fuel. And you split water into oxygen and hydrogen via like energy from the air. And then it's like, I don't know, it's some crazy stuff. And it's converted into e-fuel, which then actually can be used on, regular combustion engines.
Oh my God. And that's going to be in a Porsche?
Yeah, they've already put it into I think it was a Panamera, and it worked great. It was complete e-fuel, like from just renewable energy.
And it's a liquid or it's a
gasoline. Yeah.
It's a gas? Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll send you some stuff after this.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. Yeah, man. We need to find a different solution for no lithium, no, that would be amazing.
The lithium mining and just gasoline in general, oil production. I mean, it has been politicized quite a bit, but I do think that renewable energy is super important. Totally.
I mean, people believe that electric cars, but the lithium game is not a good game. Yeah,
for sure.
Any tool that you enjoy using that every day?
Figma, for sure. I mean, I'm a designer, so Figma is kind of my go-to. And then Adobe After Effects, Premiere Pro, things like that.
Nice. Yeah. So you're a video editor.
Yes.
I've been telling Anthony, you have to start your own podcast, man. I wish that I could have your English.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I took some thought after our conversation a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, I personally don't want to have me be the host of a podcast because, again, it goes back to our leadership discussion. I want my employees to have the voice. So what I was like, hey guys, like who would be interested in hosting a podcast? And I'll do all the branding, the marketing, and I'll put everything together. And we got two guys, Thomas Carney and Hugh Lyle. I talked about him a little bit. They're running it. It's called Terminal Velocity Podcast.
Oh, it's going to be about what?
So it's discussing software engineering, design. It's really focused on like the latest trends.
Okay, I need to be there. I need to be there.
100%. You already got the spot, man. That's why when you first started this, it was like, oh, Riverside. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if I could use that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have a PhD now in podcasts. I've been doing this for 3 years, and you have no idea how many walls I hit like through the process. It's a wonderful
Well, maybe we'll bring
world.
you in and you can tell us all about that. That would help.
Oh yeah, of course, man. My pleasure. I'm happy to share all the production and everything that I have right now. I mean, if you watch the episode number 1 and if you watch this episode, you're gonna notice the difference, right? Like audio, video quality, and everything. But it has to be like a progressively, right? Like you're gonna be in the first episode with everything 100%. You're gonna feel ashamed all the time of your first episode about the quality, not about the content, because I love the content. In fact, one of our first episodes is one of our top episodes. But yes, man.
You got to embrace the chaos. I feel like chaos is exciting, especially like in today's day and age, everything is so serious. Like as soon as something becomes chaotic, it becomes beautiful.
Totally, 100%. 100%. And you need to know how to manage the chaos. The chaos is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Anthony, if from now to 20 years later, what do you think is going to happen with technology? How do you see yourself? How do you see the planet with technology?
I would say automation is going to be huge. There's going to be a lot less manual labor in regards to like even I guess software engineering, but if you want to go broader to just tech in general, I think automation is really just going to be AI and automation. It's all going to be done for us to a certain degree, but people still have to develop that stuff. That's what's so crazy.
Well, my man, thank you very much
for
being here in Coffee Power and helping us with all these amazing strategies and amazing feedback that you give us here in the episode.
Likewise, Oz, I appreciate the time. Love what you're doing with this thing. I love the marketing. I know I've told you that a million times. I love the marketing. I think you said it was like your wife or somebody who's putting it together. So shout out. And yeah, man, I'll hit you up about coming on to Terminal Velocity.
Let's do it, man. And any feedback, happy to help.
Sounds great, Oz.
Ok. So, cafeteros, y aquí llegamos al final de este episodio. Ya se saben el ritual, like esto. Espero que lo hayan disfrutado. Me perdonan si en el inglés no lo hice a la perfección. Pero bueno, nos vemos el próximo lunes en un nuevo episodio de Coffee Power. Chao, Anthony. Bye.
Thank you, Oz. Appreciate it, man.
See you. Bye.